Welcome to this video. I like to show this image because in this video we will comment on an article, and when you do a search on the internet for the title of the article, you find this image, so it will help you to recognize the article. But I like to show it larger, and this red spots will be key in this article and this video. This is Brazil, and this is the Amazon forest. This is Papua New Guinea, this is Australia, and this is Andaman Islands, Ongi. So these are Papuans, these are Australians, and these are all Amazon Amarins. So I made kind of an abstract of this video. In this article that we will comment, we will find the genetic evidence of a Pacific route out of the Americas as far as the Andaman Islands, and this is the Pacific Ocean, and it covers almost half of the planet, so roughly 30,000 kilometers, and so this is quite a large distance. This is Papua New Guinea. Even further is Australia, or similar distance, but Andaman Islands is in South Asia. If this were Southeast Asian, then the Andaman Islands would be roughly in South Asia. This is India, and this is Asia, and this is Europe, this is Africa. Okay, so the red dots far into Asia and in the Amazon forest. So again, genetic evidence of a Pacific route. When I speak about Pacific route, I'm speaking about covering this distance. Step 1 to the Papuan, step 2 to the Andaman Islands. As far as Andaman, but also Australia, as said, and Papua New Guinea. This event, this connection, seems to exceed out of Africa 50 to 180,000 years. So it seems to be a long time ago, and even if it were only 50,000 years ago, then that's like a paradigm for out of Africa, because while it seems relatively close from Africa to Australia or to Papua New Guinea, or especially to South America, these distances are enormous. So this article, in my opinion, creates paradigms against out of Africa. And there's also a suspicion, some evidence, morphological, for an African route out of the Americas, because in my hypothesis it's always out of Americas. It is not out of Africa. I mention out of Africa because it's consensus, but all my hypotheses and proofs are about out of Americas. So this article presents me suspicion of or evidence for an out to Africa route. I will show this further in this video. This article presents evidence for hybridization, or confirms hybridization, and that this hybridization is temporary. Let's say the hybrids that are come to existence do not exist in the Americas anymore, but they are found as fossils. The out of Africa genome was, in my opinion, always considered weak. I consider it is supposed to be mitochondrial Eve. The out of Africa is based on mitochondrial Eve. I consider it a weak genome. Others consider it a weak genome as well. I consider it a bottleneck genome. So it's a paradigm how a weak or bottleneck genome could populate the whole world, as far as passing half of the planet, populating also the Americans, and especially the southern tip of South America. So that's certainly a larger distance than the circumference of the planet. And it's also strange to me that supposedly the world is populated with mitochondrial Eve's genome, which is a weak genome, is a bottleneck genome, while Africa has good, resistant, stable, in my opinion also older genomes. Why bother about mitochondrial Eve scientifically? But it doesn't make sense. There's strong genomes in Africa, and why we always talk about mitochondrial leaf of the haplogroup L. Uh, this is only to support out of Africa. We should not work this way. We should work with logic, with evidence. So back to the article. Here we analyze genome-wide data to show that some Amazonian Native Americans, Amazon Amarins, descend partly, whatever that is, from a Native American founding population. A Native American founding population. Well, this Native American founding population, the origin for consensus lies in Asia, but in fact it lies in Africa because it's all about out of Africa. And for me, it is all about the Amazon Amarants. The founding population lies in the Amazon, which is an enriched forest. So we are here today because of enriched forest. Enriched by whom? Enriched by the Amazon Amarant. Anyhow, the article itself suggests that the Amazon natives are at the beginning of the population. So this does not exclude them to be the founding population itself, which in my hypothesis and what I prove, they are the founding population.